This is a podcast, a review of the Manchester United Arsenal game, a game that ended 1-1, a draw. And title of this video is "If you plan safe, you get safe." So, at the beginning of this season, Arsenal and Unai Emery, in particular, had a unique chance, a unique opportunity to throw the shackles away following on from last season and what happened in the league. Um, a very, very disappointing fall away at the end of the season, where maybe our squad depth was in question and we lost games toward the end of the season. Noe, what's up? How are you? So we lost games at the end of the season. We dropped points and we fell away, and we had 2 or 3 weeks to prepare for a Europa League final, which would redeem everything for our season. And we clearly were not ready for that game. The quality of Chelsea overcame us, and our squad was shown to be a little bit threadbare. So we had a unique opportunity, and Unai Emery had a unique opportunity to change things around this season, to start a revolution, to establish an identity for his team, an ideology, a way of playing, a stylized way of playing, and a pattern on which his players could identify and thrive in the system, which would bring about a required uh, level of performance. He would extract a performance out of the players. So he had all these things going for him at the start of the season, and in each and every player, he could bring out improvements. He also had, on the back of a good preseason, we went on the USA tour and started integrating a lot of the young players. So they had very, very good games. The likes of Joe Willock coming forward, the likes of Martinelli, who was a new signing. All of these players coming through and doing good things and pushing their way into the team, or so we thought, for the beginning of the new season. So Martinelli and Willock shone on that USA tour. Aubameyang and especially Lacazette was very, very fresh in that USA tour. We had come in off of the back of good acquisitions from the last window. We've established a goalkeeper, a very, very top class goalkeeper who had finally taken over from Peter Cech. And, that goalkeeper is Bernd Leno. And he's played to a very, very high level through last season and even through this season. And even tonight, he pulled off some great saves in that draw against Manchester United. We also got Emi Martinez, who was out on the loan, and we were set in the goalkeeper position. So we have Bernd Leno, who is our established number one, and Emi Martinez, who is playing quite well in Europe right now in this season and pushing for a starting spot. We also last season acquired Torreira, who is a very, very good midfielder, very, very good defensive midfielder who came from Sampdoria, and he's got a year under his belt now. We also got a young player called Guendouzi, who has probably tripled his valuation in one season. We acquired him for 7 or 8 million, and he's worth probably 3 times that now. So all of that with last season, we got a goalkeeper and we got two midfielders. We can debate about Socrates all day long. He is a stopgap measure, and we can debate obviously about Lichtsteiner. I think everyone can agree Lichtsteiner was not what we needed last season. But Unai Emery uncovered and worked with three decent players there: Bernd Leno, Guendouzi, and Torreira. And stick with me because I'm getting to the point here. Um, he has a Golden Boot winner in Aubameyang and an excellent support striker in Lacazette. So these are all decent players that even before this transfer window just gone that we've acquired. Um, so adding to that, we have players who have yet to come into the team. Kieran Tierney, who unfortunately wasn't able to play today for whatever reason, and we have Nicola Pepe. Now, I'm not going to criticize Nicola Pepe because we have legends at this club who took 9 or 10 games to get up to speed and start playing well. Obviously, he has to come and adapt to a new culture. So this is not a video about Nicola Pepe, and he's going to be good in the coming games and coming weeks, and he'll be all right. But we're leaning very, very much on Aubameyang these days and our striking talent. The other thing Unai Emery had to work with this season is the introduction of a number of under 23 players, and the likes of Joe Willock, who impressed last season, the likes of Saka, who is starting to impress and had a good game by all accounts today. We had Martinelli who came in through the transfer window. He's one for the future, and he's going to be good coming forward. And we have Reece Nelson who came back from Germany. So these are all players who the coach can work with, and all things that looked rosy and well this season. Another good thing that happened this past transfer window is we shipped out a lot of dead wood. A lot of the dead wood that we could actually ship out. Mkhitaryan, to name a few, Mkhitaryan, El Nani, uh, Koscielny, who upset the apple cart a little bit and left, but Monreal as well, somebody maybe who we're missing, but to make way for Tierney, we needed to do that. So the stage was set for the new season. Now, can anyone actually tell me that in the league season that we've actually played really, really well this season? Because I don't think we actually played really, really well. I don't think the team has excelled. We're getting by on the goals that Aubameyang is scoring in particular. With Lacazette being out injured, we really, really are relying on Aubameyang to score goals, and he got us a goal tonight. And we're really, really over reliant on our strikers, and we need to get some more goals from midfield. Now, we started out obviously at Newcastle, a tough game away from home, and we were all happy to get away with the win. 1-0. We didn't play very well. It was a first game of the season, and we set our stall out in Newcastle. Came at us a little bit. We took our chance through Aubameyang with that gilt edge shot, lifting it over the goalkeeper. Took his chance, and that's what strikers will get you. You spend 120 million on strikers in Aubameyang and Lacazette, and they're going to get points for you invariably. We get away from Newcastle with a win, 3 points. Happy days. We go to Burnley, playing at home. Again, an unconvincing game. Uh, we do win 2-1, a little bit comfortably with the scoreline at 2-1. Uh, we can debate Liverpool. You know, Liverpool are the European champions. I actually think we set up as well as we could versus Liverpool, but a couple of fine details cost us that game. Obviously, our strikers had great opportunities if they'd taken them. Pepe and Aubameyang have taken some chances. Could have been a different game up there, but through very, very fine margins in the Premier League, we lost that game 3-1, and namely through a couple of bare-brained, half-brained defending from David Luiz. So that was Liverpool, and we had 2 wins out of 3 there, 6 points. We're going okay. We win our games that we needed to win. We won our games that we needed to win. Newcastle and Burnley, and we lost against Liverpool. No shame there. The North London derby. We start that game really, really badly. I believe the team was set up badly as well. We lose the first 2 goals, and we all know what happens. Socrates trying to jump in midfield with Xhaka for Kane. and Kane flicks it on. Socrates can never get back, and Ericsson scores into an open goal. Granit Xhaka concedes a penalty with a two-footed challenge, kind of like a maddening moment for him, a maddening moment for Arsenal fans. To the team's credit, we come back, we get a goal back through Lacazette, and we're able to get an equaliser in the second half for Guendouzi playing very, very well. Uh, Now we have drawn that game, so we come from 2-0 down to get a draw. Next game, we go to Watford away from home. This is arguably our worst performance of the season. We actually, instead of going, knowing what it's like to come back from 2 goals down against Tottenham, we go 2 goals up against Watford. We have them where we need them, but we obviously don't put it away. We persevere with playing out from the back. Socrates gets caught. We basically give away 2 penalties in that Watford game because they had a shot from 12 yards out in both instances with no defenders between them. We're lucky to get out of that with a 2-2 draw. Um, really, really lucky. We should have lost that game. Everyone remembers that chance right at the end with the Cora. Thanks in the comments. A shout out to Pistol. Thanks for coming on. And of course, Noe Donis. Thanks, Noe. We move on to Aston Villa. Now, we need these kind of games in our season. Everybody wants to be entertained. And there's no doubt right now that Arsenal are entertaining. We go 1-0 down. We have a player sent off rather harshly, in my opinion. We come out in the second half with Callum Chambers coming on. Not saying that he made the difference, but he's a solid player. Playing 10 men against 11, we get a goal back. Then maddeningly again, we lose a goal right away after that, which reminds me of the Old Trafford game last season. 2-1 down, we show amazing comeback qualities and fight to get a goal through Chambers. And then we all remember that free kick from Aubameyang. We are living off of the fumes of our strikers gassing us. Our strikers are giving us the highlights and the moments that we need in the season. They're providing for the inadequacies of, in my opinion, the team selection. And so we go tonight to Manchester United, and our team is not set up correctly, in my opinion. We play too safe. The coach picks his team too safe because each player has a unique set of skills in his squad, and we're talking about specifically in midfield. We have defenders who can defend. Well, that's what they're supposed to do. We do have some decent defenders, but I don't see Unai Emery learning from mistakes. I don't see him. There's some players that he favors, and some players that he does not favor. It has taken a long time for him to realize, and he gives players a long time before he actually changes his mind about them. Think about Mustafi. Think about other players like Xhaka. He's still persevering with Xhaka. Think about Mkhitaryan. He's persevered with these players all through last season. Think about Iwobi. I was a fan of Iwobi's. I always hoped that he would get to the next level, but it never really happened for him last season. And Unai Emery persevered with him. He was not by any means the worst player in our squad, but Mkhitaryan and those players were, in my opinion. So it really takes a long time for Emery to lose faith and patience. And to pick a team today against Manchester United that just smacks of caution to me. Players go out and they have, like I said, they have individual skills. So you set up your midfield, especially the defenders defend, the strikers attack. Some strikers have um, instincts to defend and come back, like Lacazette, like Martinelli. Maybe Pepe can do it. I know Lee Dixon and Nigel Winterburn would have told their respective players in front of them to give them cover if needed. So that's all things that the team can mold, and really hoping when Bellerin and Tierney come back and Holding that we can see a strong and solidified team around those players. But you pick your midfield and you set up your midfield to be either proactive or to be cautious. And I think time and time again that Unai Emery has uh, kept his fate with certain players, and one of them being Granit Xhaka. He's played Torreira, in my opinion, out of position. I understand he's trying to play Torreira further forward so that he can disrupt the play and turn the ball over and give it to the forwards in a more advanced position. But Torreira's best position is in front of that back four. And maybe our defenders would not be so bad if they had the shield in front of them. And I'm just going to say that. But the team here that was put out today, Bern Leno, he's our established number one. He has not put a foot wrong this season, in my opinion. He's going to be a good goalkeeper moving forward and somebody who can progress in this team in seasons come. Callum Chambers, who I believe is playing very, very well recently, deserves to play in the right back spot. Looks to me like Ainsley Maitland-Niles has been given a rest, and I think that's no bad thing. So Callum Chambers is deputised in the right back. Now, Kolasinac on the left-hand side. If there's no Tierney coming and he's not fit yet, then Kolasinac is the only option at left back. What was surprising to me was to see David Luiz and Socrates today playing together again after all of the things that have happened this season. Um, Thinking about Watford, I'm thinking about Tottenham, and I'm thinking about Liverpool. Those three games in particular, those players have had major, major malfunctions in their defending. Um, Now let's move into midfield. Granit Xhaka, Torreira, and Guendouzi. In my opinion, playing three in midfield does not suit our players. I would much rather see um, Granit Xhaka, if he's going to be in the team, play alongside Torreira in a pivot and play a more creative and forward-thinking player as the number 10, as it were, like a Ceballos, or even if you want an Ozil in there. But you need Granit Xhaka and Torreira as the pivot. Don't play Torreira out of position. And I think these players will be at their best when we get Bellerin back, when we get Tierney into the team. Those fullbacks are really, really going to make up for some of the inadequacies in our midfield. What we saw today was no connection from the midfield to our forwards. Nicola Pepe, who is going to get better, we need to give him time, like I said, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who scored again for us. And where would we be without Aubameyang? Let me just go through the goals. We've scored 12 goals in our 7 games. That is 1.7 goals per game. We have conceded 11 goals, which is too high, and that is 1.57 goals against. And I'll get into the comments pretty soon, Peter and Noe. Keep coming with the comments, and we'll address them. We're picking up 1.7 points per game, which is not enough in this league. We're on course for 65 points. If you continue and extrapolate that out, 65 points is not going to be enough for top four. We desperately need Holding, Bellerin, and Tierney to come into the team. And I cannot judge Unai Emery and this team yet until we see those players in the team. But I'm really not happy about what's happening right now. This Manchester United team was there for the taking. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is on a hot seat up there in Manchester. And Unai Emery is a little bit on more safe ground. But if he keeps picking these cautious teams that play safe garner a reasonable amount of points for him, um, he's going to be in trouble as well come the end of the season. Because if we continue like this, we're going to get 65 or 68 points, and that's not going to be enough for top four. And Unai Emery needs to achieve top four this season. Our goals for, if we extrapolate in 38 games, we're going to score 65 goals, and we're going to concede. This is really damning. We're going to concede 59 goals if we keep going the way we're going. We have conceded 11 goals um, in the 7 games, and if that keeps happening, we are not going to be anywhere near the top four. So we really, really are relying on Holding and Bellerin and Tierney to come into the team. Let's address some of the issues with today's game. I feel like we were a little bit on the back foot and gave Manchester United the initiative, a little bit afraid in the first half. And yes, I'm going to say we were a little bit unlucky with that goal. The McTominay shot took a deflection off of Socrates, and that made Granit Xhaka look worse actually than it was. He did try to head that ball, but it just took a trajectory that was just away from him a little bit. And Boots T- Boots TX, thanks for coming in and joining us. We will get into the comments very soon. Um, we did see the benefit of VAR, and this is what our strikers need to do. They need to finish chances. You can't stop play um, on the suspicion that you're going to be offside. So our strikers need to be honed in, and they're probably already thinking about this. Aubameyang and Lacazette to not get psyched out by the flags going up. You have to finish your play, get the ball in the net, and talk about it later. And that's exactly what Aubameyang did with a quick interchange from Saka, who played very, very well. I actually had talked about Martinelli coming on the left hand side, but Saka played very, very well for an 18-year-old. And the benefit of a striker, you get your chance and you put it away, and that's what Aubameyang did. I felt like De Gea may have stopped playing, thinking that it was going to be offside. Uh, there was about 4 yards. He was about 4 yards onside, but with Aubameyang streaking into the box and the defender trying to get out of there, obviously it looked a little bit like it was offside for the linesman. And yeah, but that's the benefit of VAR. I'm very, very happy that we benefited from VAR. We are going to not benefit one of these days from VAR. So let's get into the comments section. And let me just say, if Unai Emery continues to be cautious, it's going to be a long old season for him. And we are not going to achieve the goals that we need to achieve. So, Pistol, we were lucky to come away with a point tonight. Yeah, very lucky, very lucky. I didn't think that we were going to get that goal, and even Saka had a great chance right after Aubameyang's goal as well. Pepe, Pistol, Pepe will come good. It's Emery's team selection is going to be his downfall to his sacking in the future by playing Xhaka and giving him the captaincy. I give Emery until Christmas, but I can't see it. Definitely, if he continues to be cautious like this, it's going to be a long season. We all know that we are going to concede goals this season. Well, let's not concede. What was I talking about? 59 goals. Let's not do it. We need to tighten up. We need. People are saying don't rely too much on Holding, but I actually think he's our best defender on the books right now, and I think he is. He does have a calm way of playing about him. Combine him with Tierney and Bellerin, and we have games coming up that we can actually gather points in. I'm very, very disappointed not to have gotten the full 3 points today. We should have beaten that Manchester United team. You know, every Saturday or Sunday, I'll watch teams go to Old Trafford and actually have a go and have that lack of fear about them. Take on the mantle, take on the initiative, and actually try to attack Manchester United. they're not that infallible team that they used to be under Sir Alex Ferguson. They are actually a team in free fall, and I've actually talked about them earlier this season about not making the top six. A team that we need to be more worried about is Leicester City, who we're going to play on November 9th, and we have 4 or 5 league games before we actually play them. Our next league game is Bournemouth at home, I believe it is. So, Boots, Texas, thanks for coming in. This is going to be a crazy season for the rest of the table, aside from the top two. Boots, looking at that top two, to me, and I did tip Manchester City to win the league last year, even around Christmas when they had a 7 point um, deficit to make up. I just didn't think that Liverpool team had the mentality last season to go on and win it. Now, they had the mentality to win the Champions League in a knockout competition, but I actually do believe this Liverpool team uh, is very, very accomplished. And I think that while they're going to concede goals and not be as defensively sound as they were last year, I really, really do think that Liverpool are going to skip off into the distance away from Manchester City. Manchester City will be a solid second. I think the height of our ambitions as Arsenal supporters is to look at that third spot. Why can't we be going after the third spot? But to do that, I want Unai Emery to be more adventurous, to have faith in the younger players, to start playing Willock in the team, give these young players a chance. And I think Willock has a chance to get some goals from midfield, which is something our strikers desperately need. Pepe will adapt to the Premier League, and more reality adapt to the English culture and a new city, a new country that he's living in. But yeah, it's going to be a crazy season for the rest of the table. Uh, Boots, what do you think will be third, fourth, or fifth place? Who will fill those spots? Even down to six. Give me third, fourth, fifth, and sixth if you want. Um, I actually think that the height of our abilities could be third. I don't see us being outside the top four, and I'm still being optimistic here, even though this podcast is a little bit down on Unai Emery, but he's bringing it on himself, brother. Unai Emery, you're bringing it on yourself. Tottenham, I think, are probably a good top four, top five team. Chelsea, if they can continue doing good things under Frank Lampard, although I do believe it'll be a long season and Frank Lampard will have his own problems. And along with Leicester City, who looked like the real deal, I did predict one of the chasing pack will break itself into the top six, and that looks to be Leicester. I was actually looking over my shoulder at Wolverhampton Wanderers and I think Watford or Crystal Palace. But yeah, it's going to be a crazy season, and actually, most entertainment is probably going to come from this top four race. Unai Emery needs Champions League top four, and most likely to win the Europa League as well. I think those are the minimum requirements. Top four is the minimum requirement. I believe that the club will act if he doesn't get top four. It will be very, very debatable if we win a cup competition, let's say, and do not enter the Champions League. If we win an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup and don't enter the Champions League, he could also face the chop there. So I think qualification for the Champions League, whether it be through the league or through the Europa League, is paramount for Unai Emery. And if you have watched me over the last season, I do think that Unai Emery had a little bit of an ego about him in terms of the Europa League, in terms of his arrogance, in terms of his team selection toward the end of the season. He clearly thought that he would be able to juggle the league and the Europa League together and not focus on one or the other. So, Boots, thanks for coming in. Yes, support all Gooners. We have to respect each other's opinion as well. Um, Unai Emery does not see what we see, but he's the guy in charge right now, and we have to support him. Um, no matter how maddening it seems, I don't know why Tierney wasn't in the team. I don't know why he persists with Granit Xhaka. Um, yeah, it's just frustrating. Torreira had a great chance as well, but was unlucky on the timing. Weather could have played a factor as well. And I do believe it was filthy night up there. On the cold light of day, and sometimes we do podcasts here. And join us every Sunday if you're around 2 p.m. Eastern time. We do podcasts every Sunday. And sometimes we actually have Arsenal games on Saturday, and sometimes it's very very beneficial to have that balance and distance. You don't go on the podcast talking about the game right afterwards. You have that benefit of hindsight, the benefit of cooling down. And you know what? Yes, I'm disappointed because that's yet another game that we have not won away from home in the top six. And so I'm disappointed in that respect. But in the cold light of day, you would go to Old Trafford and not want to get beaten for sure. But when you look at that Manchester United team and you're looking at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and you're looking at how many more games he'll probably survive for, it's just maddening that we didn't get 3 points because he's definitely on more of a hot seat than Unai Emery is. It just means that Unai Emery needs to start changing things around a bit, and he hasn't done it recently, especially with granting Granit Xhaka the captaincy. Now, whether you believe that it was through the voting of the captain or not, the coach has to rubber stamp every decision, and he made the decision to make Granit Xhaka the captain. So when you think about captains, you think about Vieira, you think about Adams, you even think about Fabregas. We haven't had a decent captain in quite a few years. So, Boots, you think Leicester's going to be third, Arsenal fourth, and you can't argue with that. Leicester have solidified themselves with a pattern of play, the system that Brendan Rodgers has put in place. A lot of those players are tried and trusted. They've actually won a Premier League, so Leicester are a good shout, and they have actually covered the sale of Harry Maguire and replaced him with a very decent defender. Um, Ben Chilwell is a very, very highly rated left back. Um, Chelsea will get fifth. Tottenham will get sixth. Although any of those teams could go on a run and overtake third and fourth. Yeah, like you said, Boots, it's going to be a long, long season and probably an entertaining one. More entertaining than the title race because if Manchester City do not get themselves a defender, well, they won't be able to get one until January. I'm sure they'll be in the market to get themselves a defender, and Liverpool could be out of sight. Realistically, Liverpool could be 10 or 11 points ahead of Manchester City by that time. So, Peter, thanks for coming in. I do like to do podcasts in the evening here so that we can open ourselves up here to our viewers in America and viewers in Australia, New Zealand, and that side of the world as well. Uh, with time zones, it's a little bit unfair um, that you're not able to participate in this Sunday podcast. So Saka had a good chance and missed it. Yes, I saw that one. Uh, let me see, 14 seasons now, we've not beaten them. Yeah, I think it's probably 2006, 2007. Everyone knows by now Adebayor is the last player to have scored and won a game for Arsenal at Old Trafford, and we're never going to get a better chance than this season. Manchester United are at their lowest ebb right now, and yeah, that's 2 points gone missing again for us. today. 2 points gone missing at Watford. 2 points gone missing at the North London Derby. In my opinion, we should have 4 to 6 more points at least. I mean, I know we're going to draw some games, but to drop points versus Spurs and drop points at Watford, very, very disappointing. Vardy just seems to be hitting his stride, yeah. So Vardy is playing in a system that's really working for him, and he's thriving right now. Pistol. A captain doesn't duck his head when the ball coming towards him. He calls this the goal. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. You can definitely readjust, even if that took a slight deflection. Um, Definitely readjust and put your head on that. Put anything in the way of that ball. Um, you see defenders who actually love the art of defending, put their body on the line, and Granit Xhaka kind of closed his eyes a little bit on that one. Closed his eyes and put his head down like this, and yeah, enough. The least said about that, the better. You know. So I'm just going to round up this show now. Wanted to keep this a short one. If you got any more comments, if you're new to this channel, if Boots, if you haven't signed up for the first team already, uh, would appreciate the subscription, the subscriber. Love to have you on board. Um, come and join us on Sundays as well. If you're watching this on playback, if you've been watching, looking for some content in this Manchester United game, and you're here watching this on playback, consider subscribing. Really, really would appreciate it as well. And the channel's growing, and we have got um, a podcast on Sundays. My co-host comes on. He's actually um, he's actually sleeping soundly right now. He's South Africa. 6 hours from now, about 3 a.m. So Boots, he couldn't rush the moneymaker. LOL. Couldn't risk the moneymaker, right? Couldn't risk the moneymaker. And appreciate the subscription, really do. Appreciate all my subscribers. I know that I have subscribers from all different walks of life. We're all gooners here. Some of you like to watch the show on playback. Some of you like to get involved. And if anyone is watching this, they're subscriber or non-subscriber, check me out on Twitter at Arsenal Circle. DM me there or leave a comment here on the YouTube channel. If you want to come on the show and be part of the Arsenal Fan Circle, that's why I named this channel Arsenal Fan Circle, to include all Arsenal fans, um, and be inclusive. So yes, I'll get to your question then, Boots. Pistol, I missed the Tierney. Why wasn't he picked on the bench like Ozil? I have to believe that he was not fit and ready to go in such a big game. So, and Boots, yeah, I'm in America. My life story is like I've been living here since 2003. I came over in the invincible year from Ireland. Originally born in Ireland, um, so I do go back to Dublin, Ireland to visit family a lot. And I'm actually living in a city called Bethlehem, between New York and Philadelphia. And I do follow a USL team here called Bethlehem Steel. They're a feeder club for the Philadelphia Union. So if you have a chance, check those out. Well, listen, going to wind things up. I do appreciate all of you, and like someone else, another podcast says, leave them wanting more. So hats off to Alex from Cannon Fodder TV. All right, Pistol. What time is it? You're away now, bud. Okay, so it's 9 p.m. here in the evening. And what time is it over there? Maybe 11 a.m. in Australia. So yeah, do appreciate you guys coming in. The channel is growing. We're on 146 subscribers. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button. Help us get to 200 by the end of the year, because I did start this thing on the 23rd of December, and that would be a nice Christmas present, to hit 200 or even more, 200 subscribers. So 9 a.m. Pistol, we're exactly 12 hours apart. Okay, cool. And obviously, when we have the podcast on Sundays, it's like 2 a.m. for you. So yeah, I don't encourage anyone to stay up late at night just to watch me. So please join us on Sundays. This has been, a podcast about Unai Emery ostensibly. I need him as an Arsenal fan. I need him to um, be more proactive, be more adventurous, because he needs to entertain the supporters as well. He needs to entertain the supporters. He's going to have a lot more friends amongst Arsenal fans, amongst Arsenal supporters. If he opens the thing up and start playing some of the younger players, we want to see exciting football. And I think with exciting football, you're not going to lose too many um, games or points. Certainly no more than we're already losing. We've lost at least 6 points that we should have gained this season. So, Pistol, you're from Perth, Western Australia, and Boots, you're from Colorado. Yeah, join us on the Sunday podcast boost. We would love to have you. It's a small group right now, but we're growing every week, and we have great guests. If you've seen some of the podcasts, you'll know what it's all about. We like to have fun. We like to bring on guests who are interesting, and it's all about entertainment at the end of the day. And it's all about as if we were in a bar or a pub here, talking about the Arsenal. The only thing that separates us is distance and geography. We're all Arsenal fans at heart, and we all bleed the red and white of Arsenal. So a little bit disappointing for the result today, but yeah, spread the word. Spread the word down in Perth to check out Arsenal Fan Circle, Peter. Yeah, it's a country I would love to get to visit one day. Yeah, we're all Arsenal fans. We all bleed red and white. I'm disappointed that we didn't pick up the extra two points, and I need Unai Emery to be more open in the way that the team plays, be more expansive, and get more points and be more entertaining. And he can stay out of controversy that way. He's a protagonist. He's a protagonist coach, and we don't want that. Hey, until next time, I'll be dropping videos through the week, but I wanted to get online here after the game. Emotions still running high, but it's not the end of the world. We didn't lose the game, but it was an opportunity to pick up. I'm tired of the media hearing talking about us not winning a game away from home versus the top six. Catch us on Sunday. We will have a podcast as usual. We will be reviewing the Bournemouth game at home, and hopefully we get 3 points from that, because we've only won one game in the last 5 games, so that's not good. My duty station was in Sydney way back when. Okay, cool. So, Boots, you've been to Australia. We all gather at the Inglewood Hotel. One day, hopefully, I'll be there, Peter. I'd love to go. Until next time, this has been Arsenal Fan Circle. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for interacting in the comments section. Just being me waffling along to myself if I didn't have a few people in the chat section. Shout out to Noe from Venice Beach on the West Coast. Shout out to Boots from Colorado. And shout out to Pistol all the way from Australia. And, that's why I do this podcast in the evenings, even though my wife rolls her eyes a little bit. She's very understanding. But yeah, I like to do this podcast once in a while in the evenings to supply content to those who can't see the podcast on a Sunday. I know everybody watches back on the playback. So if you're watching back at the playback, you've liked me waffling on, even though my niece said I was really bad one time. Um, check it out. Um, hit that like button, everybody. I know you've been doing that lately, but it really, really does help the channel to get up there. And not very long though. It was when I was in the Marine Corps and 9/11 happened, so we rolled out. So I have a 9/11 story. I'll remember your name, Boots. I'll tell you about the 9/11 story another time. But that's a story for another time. Okay. So thanks for coming in. Appreciate everybody subscribing. And we're going to hit the 45-minute mark here. And I'm going to stop waffling and let everyone get on with their day and their evening. This was a short podcast about Una Emery. I really, really need him to be more proactive, to play the kids. You know, Freddie Lundberg is there to help Una Emery with the young players. Family's the hardest critics. Okay, sounds good, bro. Catch you later. I'm out of here. Um, let's roll on to midweek. Thanks for watching, everybody. Come on, you Gooners.